So Beckham was trying to recruit me. Well, you don't believe that? Wow, this is disrespectful, John.
Sorry.
Can I do it now? Nah, nothing will happen here now. This is it right now. Just so many good moments, and then you look back and like some of these guys are like the premier guys in stand-up, and we didn't know. I didn't know these people I was meeting was gonna do this. Like we just doing it. We trying to do something, but we didn't know. But yeah, it's been a fun journey. I watched Arteta make that light bulb speech, and I laughed at him. Right? I was like,
Arsenal getting dragged.
Yeah, but I was like, this works. So fine, we got a new coach, but I want this coach to do good, but I can't be like attached to him until he's. I ain't the rebounding kind.
Okay, I hear that. Yo, good vibes to the Immaculate Collective. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy John from wherever you guys are tuning in from across the world. I hope you guys are doing well. Let's talk a little bit about today's guest, because this guest, I have a bit of a long history from my side, and let me explain. If you guys have been watching me for a while, you guys know that I have so much love and respect for the people in the creative industry, whether it be in music or art or comedy. I have so much love and admiration for people who practice these crafts, because I think the creativity element of their work, it has such a massive impact and influence in our everyday society, and I always believe that. And I have so much respect and admiration for these people. And in terms of comedy, I can't even tell you how important it is for me. I was very reliant upon comedy to maintain my laughs. And talk shows and talk show hosts might not be the standard form of stand-up comedy that you guys are used to, but talk shows and talk show hosts are in fact writers of comedy. And there is a talk show host by the name of Conan O'Brien. He is sort of retired now in the sense that he's stopped doing talk show hosts and he talk shows, and he's more doing like travel shows and podcasts and stuff like that. But he was my favorite talk show host growing up. It was him and David Letterman. And I had a dream for a minute of wanting to be a talk show host. I thought he was spectacular, and he was my role model in many ways growing up, and I wanted to be like Conan. And I was watching one of his shows, and if you guys don't know, talk show hosts usually have a segment, whether it be at the beginning to warm up the crowd or in the middle or whatever it is. They usually have a segment where they bring in a stand-up comedian to do like a 5-10 minute show. And I remember there was a comedian by the name of Ian Edwards who was introduced by Conan O'Brien. And he came out and he said something about...
Please welcome back to the show, the very funny Ian Edwards.
How's everybody feeling? Good, I like that. You look like an honest crowd, so I just want to take a quick survey. Say you're walking down the street late at night and you see two black dudes in hoodies coming your way. How many people here honestly would cross over to the other side of the street? So one person in the top and me, that's it. The rest of y'all just being straight dishonest, huh?
If you guys are interested, go check it out. I'll leave a link for it in the description. Yeah, I remember watching it. And then fast forward many years later, I got connected to Ian Edwards. He showed love to my content, and I recognized him right away. I knew right away who he was. It was incredible to see that a comedian who also happens to support Manchester United is somebody that I used to watch on TV. It was crazy for me. He was one of the first people outside of the direct line of football industry that showed me love, and it meant a lot to me that somebody who I used to watch on TV started showing me love about my content. Ever since then, we've just been chopping it up, and it's been nothing but mad love, and I got nothing but love and time for this man. I've name dropped him a bunch of times already, so this introduction isn't as techy, but you guys know him as Ian Edwards. He is an incredible comedian, a Manchester United fan, and the host of the Soccer Comic Rant podcast. And this episode was hilarious for me. We chatted about Manchester United, we chatted about comedy, and yeah, it was a great conversation. After you guys watch the entire clip, please consider hitting the like, hitting the subscribe button if you guys are new. Swing over to Ian's podcast, follow him on all of his socials, all of which the links are in the description. Let me not hold y'all any longer. Be happy, be healthy, take care of your loved ones, and enjoy the show.
And I'm happy that Ahmad got his. Can you curse on this?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
That Ahmad was like, got his shit off. It's like he's like my favorite Man United player right now.
Oh, okay.
And it is painful seeing all that skill sitting on the bench. So I'm glad he got used yesterday.
So do you feel like, I mean, we'll just jump right into it, but do you feel like Ahmad is one of those players that probably needed to be starting ahead of all these other players right now at this moment in time?
Yeah. Even like last season, I was like, put him in. Like, what are you doing? Like, I feel like a part of the bad results is last season. I know we had injuries, but if you played Ahmad more, we'd have won some of them. Some of them L's would have been W's.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think right now he's the most efficient winger?
Yeah. Oh, the right winger, yeah, 100%.
But his performance in the first half. I mean, look, I ride for Garner. I mean, sorry, I'm at like hard. Like that's my guy. I got so much love for him. But if I'm trying to maybe play the other side of the table here,
don't do it. Why would you want to do that?
No, I just want people to know that we're not just sitting here being completely biased. Because Ahmad's performance
Why can't we be completely biased?
You know what? You're so right. No, because the conversation I was seeing was a lot of the tweets prior to his goals, especially in the second half. The first half, the conversation I want to have was a lot of the tweets, especially on X or Twitter, or whatever the hell you want to call it. People were complaining about his performance because while everybody was sort of stinking, people were saying that, if this was Ahmad's time to prove a point, he's not doing a good job. And maybe the performance might not have been good in the first half, but the goals were enough. Do you think he's done enough already just by that game and that performance alone to say, hey, look, you got to start me at this point?
I think he's done it before that. And I think even Rude yesterday, I watched Rude's interview at post game, and he was like, Ahmad was the best player for us in the first half. And even though he didn't score any goals yesterday, he was our best player in the game. He just retains the ball. He just doesn't give it up. And especially last season when we were just allergic to keeping the football. Remember? We just have the ball for 5 seconds and just cough it up. Yeah. Like that's when you needed an Ahmad. That's why we liked Manu, because we knew he would hold on to it.
Right.
So it's like you need people that will hold on to the ball. Like, even though Bruno creates chances, half of the time Bruno had, like yesterday, Bruno gave away the ball so many times. Like I was frustrated. I'm a big Bruno fan. You know what I mean? But he was like, yo, you dudes that look like you play for Newcastle want this ball? Here.
You do sound like yeah, it's like I want to move on to sort of breaking down and really getting started into one of each. But before we move on, maybe we could just finish up on this point. Like you mentioned, Manchester United having a tough time retaining possession. Do you think it comes down to quality, or do you think it's a confidence issue? What do you think is the reason why we're playing hot potato with the ball?
Hot potato, hilarious. I don't think we've been doing it as much this season. Because even like Xerxes had a bad last 2 games, but after he scored and after they started him a little bit when Højlund was injured, he would do good passing the ball. He hasn't scored, and everybody's like, it's goals. But even he's good with the ball when he has confidence. There's been 2 games before this when he has no confidence. But when he has confidence, he holds on to it. We have a lot of people that can hold. We have Eriksson. Casemiro is good with the ball. Yeah. Casemiro is good with the ball. He's bad except in the Liverpool game, he's bad. Like, he makes some bad tackling decisions.
Yeah, so he's bad at chasing the ball.
Chasing the ball.
Yeah, there you go.
If he's in front of the ball, he's good. If he has to chase it, then there's going to be some dubious decisions being made by Casemiro. It's like, bro, just get in front of the ball, or just trust your teammates,
Right.
Yeah, just apply pressure from behind. But yeah, I think this year overall, we've had high possession, I think, in a lot of games. Yeah. And created some chances. So I feel like things are getting better, but that's just me. I don't know if I'm being too optimistic.
No, man, I'm with you. I'm with you, boss. I feel like we need more optimism, and it's a thing that's like a work in progress. I think from my perspective,
Yeah.
I think like you mentioned, chance creation. We didn't see none of that last season. At least at the start of this season, we saw a lot more of that, which is a positive, encouraging sign. And you're looking at somebody like Ruben Amorim, who's going to be coming in, and we've seen the style of football that he's played with Sporting Portugal. So it is something that we can be, looking forward to. But let's move on and really get underway here. We'll jump back into the Manchester United discussion a little bit later. We're going to start with the first photo of tonight. This is something that I took my time and I dove into your Instagram. We have to start with this one right here. So talk to me a little bit about this and what was going on here.
So Beckham was trying to recruit me. Well, you don't believe that? Wow, this is disrespectful, John.
Sorry. Go on, sorry, Beckham.
First he's trying to get me to be a model. Then he's like, okay, I'll get you to play too. Then I was like, no, I don't want to do either. I'm good, Nah.
Oh man. So where was this?
This is at Old Trafford. This is Old Trafford. So I did a show in Leeds, right? Guess who was at the show? Rio.
Oh.
It's like Christmas time. So afterwards, Rio talks to me and all the comics. And one of my homies, he's an Aston Villa fan. The other guy, he's a Leeds fan.
Okay.
But Rio, we kicked it, and Rio was like, yo, do you want to come to a game? And it was like the day after New Year's or New Year's Day at Old Trafford, and he gave us tickets. And not only tickets, but it was like afterwards you come down. We're his friends, so we get to be in the waiting area when the players come out the locker room. So I got pictures with just the dream team. Beckham took a photo, Scholes, and Rude. I think I got one with Rude too.
So you took a picture with all those stars, but you decided to post the one with Bex. What was that for?
No, you know what? I would post the one with the other ones too. I'm surprised the other ones ain't on there. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to post the other ones.
You go.
But back then, I don't even know where these photos are. Like, I don't know how I got this, because this shit might have been on a BlackBerry. You know what I mean?
Wow. Got our BlackBerry days. Yeah. Oh, man. What year was this around?
It might have been like 2000, 2001.
Okay.
Something like that, Was
this your entryway into sort of supporting Manchester United? Or like, how did you get around to supporting the club?
So I was born in England, but when I left and I lived in Jamaica and moved to America, they didn't have the games on. You know what I mean? They didn't have the games on. So when I started going back to England to do shows, you're hearing about United and all that. And then also they started showing the highlights of all the leagues here. And then they started showing games. So then I used to just watch all the games, everyone, Saturday morning, everyone. And I just fell in love with United, their story, the class of 92. And then a little after that, maybe a year after that, they won the Champions League. And I just so happened to be doing shows in Manchester. And I went to meet a girl in Manchester. She lived in Warrington. So I was in Manchester when they had the parade.
Oh, sick.
So I saw the Champions League parade. So, I'm in,
There you go. Oh, who was some of your favorite footballers them times?
Scholes was my favorite footballer back then. Scholes. For some reason, when I played, I was a midfielder. So I just identified with any midfielder, like Beckham, Scholes, just any midfielder.
Something about Scholes for me, he's my favorite Manchester United player. He made football look easy. His passing range was incredible. And I just feel like we've yet to see somebody as incredible as him in terms of passing. Nobody made it look as easy as him.
Right.
This is incredible. I mean, I was scrolling through it and I saw this. I was like, oh my goodness.
Way down. I gotta find these other photos. Gotta be there. I gotta put them on there.
The next photo that I want to share with you guys, it snapped on me. I was like, whoa.
That one?
No, sorry. Sorry, this is a janky technical. This photo. You had a full head of hair, my boss. So talk to me about what happened. What's going on here?
Look, many lies, bro. Many lies. And that's actually a boxer.
Oh,
that's Montel Griffin. And he was the first person to beat, what's his name? Goddamn, nobody could beat this guy, but he beat him. What? I'm just blanking right now. But
okay.
This is how he beat the guy.
That was undefeatable.
But that was undefeated by disqualification. The guy caught him, and then when he went down, the guy hit him again, so they disqualified him, and then he became a world champion.
Whoa! That's crazy. So
Yeah.
where did you see him at? Where was this photo taken?
I was doing shows in Chicago.
Mm.
And then he was at the show, and then we became friends. And then he invited me to fights and shit like that. And me and the other comics, so we went to fight. He would come to shows, and then we became friends. He actually started doing comedy recently.
That's
and his
sick.
son is boxing too.
Damn. I didn't even know he was a boxer, but the more you know. I need to hear a little bit more about the hair. We need to talk about.
I still got him in a drawer upstairs.
So when you shave it all off?
On one of those trips to England.
Oh.
I might have maybe the year before the Beckham pick.
Right. Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, chronologically, maybe this one came first before the Becks, because obviously
this was before the Becks joint.
Okay. Cool. Was this around the time you first started comedy?
I'd been doing it a little bit.
Okay.
I've been doing it a little bit, and I started growing dreads at some point and just having dreads. And, I'm Jamaican, so, it was a part of I don't know, dreads was, I just got some dreads, fam.
I love this. It was sick. I was just like, oh man, you should have kept it.
I know. I mean, like I did.
Can you do it now?
Can I do it now? Nah, nothing will happen here now. This is it right now. I had my glory days.
Didn't we all?
Linen shirt. See my linen shirt, baby? Jamaican style. Like a shooter. I'm dressed like a shooter.
All right, well, let's move on to the next one, because I want to touch a little bit more about your comedy career, because I feel like this is something that we really need to touch up on. For those of you watching at home, if you don't know, I love comedy, and I feel like I always believe that comedy is a form of art that in some ways saved me, and I have so much love and admiration for comedians. So we'll start off with your comedy career. We touched upon it a little bit before, but like, what really made you want to start comedy in particular? Like
things I didn't know about, but I realize now, one of the things is when I just moved from Jamaica, and then I was like in slow motion, like just America's just moving mad fast. And I'm just like standing there trying to take it in. You've been an immigrant, you know that type of feeling where you're trying to catch up with this culture that you don't know some things, but you don't know everything that happened. And you're trying to catch up with what's going on now and what's happening immediately in the present going into the future. And then, so there was a guy at work named Greg Ellis. And when I say work, I mean Burger King. And he was funny as shit, like just hilarious. And I realized when he worked, the shifts went faster. And then it occurred to me, it's like, all right, you need to tap into your funny side to just, if you want to enter this society and be a part of it, like Greg is being funny, is fun. Tap into your funny side. I was just frozen, so I forgot about just the normal things you could do to like talk and communicate to people, because I didn't know everything about American football, all the music. I'm listening to Jamaican music and dance hall, so you got to catch up on that. Like there's rock, there's our Airbnb. I mean, that's the Airbnb.
There's Airbnb, all right.
Airbnb music, you know what I'm saying? That's what it was back then. And hip hop. So I'm just trying to catch up. But it's like, well, what you do know is I was funny in Jamaica. I was funny when I was born in England. Just do that shit, And so then I started doing that. And then one day on the drive-thru, I was taking somebody's order, and it's a microphone. I'm clowning. Somebody pulls around, and they was like, hey man, did you take my order? I was like, yeah. He's like, hey man, you should be a comic. And I've never thought about that ever. But when that person said it, it resonated. I would never recognize that person if I saw him again today, but that sentence changed my life.
Wow.
And that's when I started like, all right, I'm gonna go some mics, watch some mics, write some material, and start doing stand-up at these mics. Started bombing hard.
Yeah. So the next one I was going to ask is, what was some of your first like memories of stand-up in terms of maybe bombing or some like good successful moments?
I'll never forget my first bomb, because that was the first show I ever did. And there's been many after that, but you never forget the first of anything. I just remember I've been going to mics just to watch.
Yeah.
At the same club that I ended up doing and getting my first bomb at. And I didn't know that when I was watching from off stage, when they introduced me to go on stage, the lights hit me and I couldn't see anything. I was blinded, and that just threw me. I've been going to that club for a few weeks watching this, but I'd never walked on the stage. I'm just watching these. So I didn't know the lights was like bright as shit. And I was like, froze. Like, and I invited people. They just watch. Is he going to do anything? And it made me understand why the cops shine the lights on you when they pull you over.
Oh,
They'll freeze you because you lose your sense of sight. So it gives them the advantage. So I was like, oh, I get it now.
deer in the headlights situation.
Yeah, the damn headlight situation. That's why dares freeze, and you think they're stupid. No, you get hit by some lights. It's like a taser. You know? If you can't see, you don't move. So I wasn't moving. Nothing. No mouth, no nothing.
So you didn't get to do any material?
Nah, then I started talking, but it was like rabble. It was nothing like everything I said wrong, every joke. But then I got some composure towards the end and I said the last joke correctly. And then I got off stage and they laughed at the last joke. And I was like, all right, I'm nervous. I got to get used to this. But I realized from the last joke, if I can calm my nerves when I say things right, this will work. So I just have to work at getting the nerves out and just talking coherently so people will understand. People need to understand what you're saying to laugh.
Let's move on to the next photo. Can't wait to talk about this one because
I'm excited. I'm like, what is he going to show next? I forgot what's on my Instagram.
Well, this one we're pivoting a little bit because this one is from my personal archive. This one is a photo that I took, allegedly, because apparently you're not allowed to take photos, so allegedly, okay, performing. I got to finally come over to Los Angeles this past summer to watch you perform. It was a dream come true for me, like just to sit there right there in the center watching you. So like, that's my guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was incredible for me. And I thought you killed it. Like your crowd work, your timing, your cadence, all of it was incredible. Laugh Factory is a huge place. Comedy Cellar is a huge place. Like, these are institutions in the world of comedy. Like, when did you really start to notice that, like, oh my God, like I made it as a comedian. Like I'm doing it on these big stages.
First thing, I still don't think I made it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, because I have so many friends that have done so much more. So I'd like to catch up to them in some senses, but not in all. So I have some goals set, and I just shot a special. So that's going to come out soon. So that'll help with one of the, just the goals that I got set.
Absolutely.
But, I'm like, we just came from a game at SoFi. Was this after the SoFi game?
Yes, that was.
Yeah. So that's why I'm dressed so badly. I had to go straight to the show. I didn't have time to go home and change because that shirt does not go with those pants. So I'm just realizing that now, looking at this photo. Jacket's kind of short too.
Oh man!
No, but you see yourself in photos.
You're like,
my clothes look better in the older photos that you showed. Might have to get the dreads back.
Oh man! No, but like this moment, like the Chef of Paddock guys was there. Shout out to Chef of Paddock, and we were all just talking about how incredible you were. You know what I'm saying? Just to be able to connect with, somebody as talented as yourself because of Manchester United, like at the SoFi game, and you and I first met at in Las Vegas. But I wanted to touch a little bit more on the comedy side before we jump back into Manchester United. In terms of like your stage, like your work, and how you address the crowd, like, do you feel more pressure when somebody is like onto you? Like if you feel like somebody's heckling you, or if somebody's like on your case, like do you feel more pressure, or do you sort of thrive in that? Because I've heard different comedians say different things. I've heard some comedians says they hate that no matter how good they might look, or some comedians says they thrive off of that. They love bouncing back and forth between people that just absolutely hate your guts.
Hilarious. I don't mind it, because I've learned that you can get great moments out of it. And as long as, for me, what works for me is I used to fear the unexpected, which is what heckling is. But now, just from experience, I know if I relax, I'll be fine. I'll be able to handle it, and I'll be able to tap into some shit that I wouldn't have that night, or into myself, and find something in me to deal with the adversity of it. Not that this doesn't mean I want to get heckled on a regular basis.
Of course not.
But it just means that it's just good to know how resourceful you could be in moments that you don't expect.
Right. Do you have some memories of like some hecklers that really just got on your nerves, or it was really tough to deal with?
Yeah, like especially when I was started, you didn't know what to do. You know, like the heckler would win the show. Like, you know, like you'd lose. One night in that same first club, like I had the smart idea to bring the heckler on stage. They're like, you think it's that easy from down there? Come up here. The motherfucker came on stage and then I gave him the mic. He destroyed me. It was the equivalent of a cop giving a criminal his gun. Like, that was dumb. So I would never do that again. And so I remember that night.
Wow.
Being on stage and the heckler owning me in front of the audience that I was supposed to be entertaining.
Right.
And I was like, man, you just learn things, you know?
That must have been tough. I can't even imagine.
Yeah. Now I would just tear that heckler up from the seat, you know, and he would never make it to the stage. He'd probably leave, you know?
Absolutely. What are some like good memories? What are some of your favorite, most incredible?
Those were good memories, John.
Oh, wow. I was about to say, no, don't do that.
No, but those are not bad memories for me because learn, like anything I learned from is not a bad. I don't know. I just never thought, and I've been booed, you know what I'm saying? But I just never thought, as long as I was getting better, that's all I cared about, you know? And I know all of these things, the good ones. There's so many. I did so many more great shows where I did good, or, you know, I'm a combination of all of that, the good and the bad, you know? Being selected to go to comedy festivals like Montreal or the Toronto Comedy Festival, or going to Edinburgh and being there with Chappelle for like a month and hanging out with him and kicking it. And like when we were younger and just meeting Rogan, you know, and doing shows with Rogan and being friends with Bur when we were younger and just going to eat, me, him and Patrice and Keith Robinson and Norton and just all those guys, and just fun conversations we'd have, just laughing, whether we had a good show or a bad show, and being honest with each other. Just so many good moments. And then you look back and like some of these guys are like the premier guys in stand-up. And we didn't know, you know, I didn't know these people I was meeting was going to do this. Like we just doing it, you know, we trying to do something, but we didn't know, you know. But yeah, it's been a fun journey, you know, interesting.
Where's your most favorite stand-up venue?
Right now, it's a Comedy Store. Damn, I shouldn't say that with the Laugh Factory. Comedy Store, the Laugh Factory, and improv. No, it's fine. I'll leave it on. like the Comedy Store, because I get more spots there a week. Okay. And now, especially after I shot the special, like that's where I get to try. I try new material at the factory too, but you get at least 3 or 4 shots a week at the store to like build.
I see. You texted after you did the show. You hopped off to the Comedy Store, and you texted me. We were sitting there. Me and Jimmy were sitting there. We're like, all right, Ian's gonna probably let us know what to do next. And you texted me after like 30 minutes, and you're like, yo, I'm at the store. I had no idea that the store meant you were at the Comedy Store. So literally, me and Jimmy are sitting in the front seat. We're like, oh, he probably went to go grab something like to eat at the store or something. So we just sat there waiting the whole time. And then when I found out, like, oh, the Comedy Store, I'm an idiot. How did I not know? And me and Jimmy looked like we're so dumb. We got on, we ran, we hauled ass to the Comedy Store. But next time, my goal is to come see you perform there. That would be sick. Absolutely. Let's jump over to talking a little bit about Manchester United. I can't have you on here and not talk about Manchester United. I want to hear your thoughts about Ruben Amorim, because I feel like the hype is very mixed in terms of the reaction. There's a section of the fan base that's super excited and like, I can't wait to bring him. He's like the next Jose Mourinho. And there's a section of the Man United fan base that's like, dude, he's like another variation of Erik ten Hag. Like, where do you stand on that?
I don't know yet. You know what? I was hyped about Ten Hag. I was excited, and I was gutted that we let him go. Like, you know, it's tough to forget 2 trophies and those great moments. And then, you know, we were heading in the direction of getting back. And I know the thing that's frustrating about the media, they hate us. They hate United. Yeah, and they hate the glory days. So whenever they talk about United and Erik ten Hag and saying he's not a good coach, and how he finished 8th last season, they forget there was any injuries. Like every time you hear them talk about it, no matter who it is, he finished 8th. They name, and it's like, there was a reason somebody doesn't finish 3rd and then finishes 8th for no reason. Eddie Howe didn't even make nobody's trying to fire Eddie Howe, but he had a little bit more injuries than us and finished after us. They're not in Europe or nothing. Nobody's trying to fire Eddie Howe. You know what I'm saying? Because you know he's a good coach. But everybody was just trying to fire Ten Hag.
So you feel like because of the pressure from the media and the perspective of all of it, you feel like Ten Hag got just the short end of the stick and he was sort of, I guess, sacrificed almost in that sense?
Yeah, because like you create your own reality. Nobody's creating the reality of trying to fire Eddie Howe, but everybody was creating the reality of trying to say Ten Hag was a shit coach. You know what I mean? Like, and then it becomes the reality. Like, who's to say if he stayed? Like, even we started this season the same way we kind of ended last season with a ton of injuries. No Yarrow, no Hoyland, you was at the SoFi game. First time he touched the ball, took it down the length of the pitch and scored. And we're like, bang, this dude is ready for the season. And then in the same game, Euro's out, he's out. We got no Manu, you know, an England player. We got no Mount, you know, like, so we started the same way we ended. So we're having the same results. So fine, we got a new coach, but I want this coach to do good, but I can't be like attached to him until he's, I ain't the rebounding kind. Like.
Okay, I hear that. I hear it. Ian, you mentioned trophies before. I got asked this question recently, and I feel like this is the perfect question to ask you. For me, it was pretty tough. So many people have been asking me. Mikel Arteta is at the center of the conversation because he clearly, while from a Premier League position standpoint, they've been fantastic, they've nothing to show for it because they've not won anything. So the question to you is, Ian, would you rather finish 8th and win the 2 trophies like Erik ten Hag did, or would you rather finish 2nd 3 years in a row but not win anything like Mikel Arteta and Arsenal? Which one would you prefer?
I can only take the one that has already happened to me. You know what I mean? And it's funny. Like, Arteta has to win this year.
Yeah.
Like, no question. And I
absolutely
said this before the season started, because how long can you make these players believe your message? Like, how tough Man City are. Like, you can't keep preaching this stuff without actually beating them, or they're not going to believe after this that they can do it because they got so close the last 2 years. And then now it's kind of going pear-shaped because of some red cards and because of some red cards and some injuries. But I do see the media giving Arteta like, well, he has no Odegaard. What happened when we had no defense whatsoever? So they're making these excuses for him, but I'm just enjoying laughing at Arsenal fans. Like, any set of fans who's winning gets cocky and gets annoying. Arsenal fans got cocky and got annoying. Like, being the hope and the promise of finishing 2nd and believing that it just takes one more season to do it has kind of made them unbearable. So this poor stretch that they're going through is funny as shit to see. And distraught on Arsenal fan TV. It's like, as soon as Arsenal loses, I'm watching Arsenal fan TV. What's his name? Simon Jordan?
Yeah, Simon Jordan from TalkSport.
Yeah, he accused like Robbie of like hoping that Arsenal loses because it brings more fans to watch the channel. In a conversation they had in an interview. And listen, the people who watch Arsenal fan TV the most are the non-Arsenal fans after Arsenal loses. That's when the numbers go up because we want to see them in pain. There's nothing funner than like pissed off Arsenal fans.
Yeah.
There's nothing more entertaining than. I like Robbie. These guys are passionate. I watch them when they win and I watch when they have flex on, like they mix and they all go at each other. It's entertaining, man. They're fun guys, but it is fun to see them lose.
Hell yeah, absolutely. I grew up with like Arsenal fans and Liverpool fans, and like if there's one thing I can recognize, because I didn't grow up supporting United in the late 90s and early 2000s. But if there's one thing after speaking to a lot of these older heads, these United ruined their childhoods. Yeah. Like, they are hurt.
Yeah. So that's why the pressure, that's why that reporter went to Sporting to try to interview our new coach in English. Yeah. It's like, and just being straight up rude. Like, you know, like all these Ten Hag stinks things from these pundits, it's coming from, they support teams that got ruined by Man United, and they're taking it out on Ten Hag.
Yeah, they are. 100%. 100%. Well, I guess in terms of keeping your reservations, because you're not trying to rebound, I respect that. I respect it. But we'll wrap up the United.
I hope he does great.
Absolutely.
I would love to fall in love with him.
I couldn't have said it any better. There you go. But maybe we'll wrap up on the conversation of United, maybe with a bit of discussion about the squad, because the game that we saw against PAOK or PAOK, Flex was talking about it on his podcast. He said, look, he was talking to Josh. Shout out Josh, who is the videographer, the producer, or whatever you want to call it. He's the go-to guy for United View. He supports Arsenal, and he was talking to Josh, and he was saying, do you understand what I'm seeing here? When PAOK come to Old Trafford to play Manchester United, these men should be terrified. But they're now coming to Old Trafford and they're playing their absolute heart out and they're bossing it. You know, I know Manchester United won, but in the first half, that was his reaction when he was saying it on the podcast. And he was saying the players are not good enough at this moment in time. He believes in their potential, some of them, but he says at this moment, we just don't have the squad to produce. Do you agree with that? Do you think we need more depth? Do you think we're lacking in quality? Like, where do you stand on that?
I feel so. I watched the interview. Who was the guy from South Africa? Benny McCarthy.
Benny McCarthy. Shout out Benny McCarthy.
Yeah. So I watched this interview because I wanted to know. Sometimes you want to know what's going on in the club that's not happening on the pitch. And he said Ten Hag was tactically efficient. Right. So I was like, okay, so it's not that. What is it? And I was like, I watched Arteta make that light bulb speech and I laughed at him. Right? I was like,
Arsenal getting dragged.
Yeah. But I was like, this shit works. Because before this bad run, when Arsenal stepped on the pitch, they're like, they would always start like as if like warm, just hot. Like they straight go for your throat. Like before this bad run. So Arteta's light bulb speeches work. And I feel like maybe Ten Hag didn't have that inspirational injection that Arteta had. And I was like, that's what I hope Amorim brings. Like, not just tacticalness, but sometimes, like Ferguson wasn't a great tactical guy, but he'd make them run through walls. And I feel like our squad is better than Villa's squad. But Unai Emery gets these guys to run through walls. So what if this squad that's better starts playing with the intensity of a Villa or Arsenal? Like just enthused and like dying for the shirt. Like I feel like that's when we'll change. I don't think it's a skill thing. I just think it's like they just need to be inspired.
Yeah, but you hit the nail on the head. Inspiration. Isn't that up to the manager though? Because as much as we loved Erik Ten Hag, then we could potentially say that it was Erik Ten Hag who couldn't inspire his players as much as we both loved Erik Ten Hag. Absolutely.
And I think that's why the link, I read some articles. There were some long articles. I forgot. My friend sent them to me. And he was like, in the articles, he was just breaking down what went wrong. And I think one of the things that went wrong was you can't be a disciplinarian and then keep playing Anthony and everybody in the squad knows that there's better players on the team. So then you lose kind of your leverage. And I think Ten Hag paid so much money for Anthony, he had to make it work or it looks bad. But if you try to make it work and everybody knows, hey man, you should be playing other people. And then also if Rashford is playing bad, there's nobody to replace him. You're going to replace him with Martial. It was just like sometimes he didn't make the right call so that whatever he would tell them would work. Because you're like, this person's playing and they should probably not be. But I didn't know who he would replace them with. But some players you did have a replacement for and you didn't replace them. So you kind of lose your authority or just your words of enthusiasm. So hopefully Amorim comes in and just does everything on the up and up, no favorites, and plays people who deserve so that everybody that doesn't play knows that they got to bust their ass to play, which will push each other further and further along.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's wrap up on this by asking you with the age-old question. Where do you think United will finish now?
We got a lot of time, man.
We do.
In the season,
We do. But how crazy would it be if you pick it and it ends there? And I'll be like, yo, Ian,
I'm going to say fourth.
Fourth, okay.
I don't know how. Because my concern is the 3-4-3. I feel like it's a very defensive formation.
But if you watch his Sporting Portugal side, they look very dynamic, and it doesn't actually just look defensive. It might look like that on paper, but they look pretty fluid going forward. Do you think he'll even play that system here? Because he did mention that, like, he might not play 3-4-2-1, and it's kind of similar to what Erik ten Hag said. He's not going to translate that exact Ajax side and the way that they played into Manchester United. Do you think Ruben Amorim will even play that 3-4-2-1?
The reason why he can't is because we're united, and and we have to attack. So if he can play it and make us attack and hold the ball more, then fine. But the crowd will only take a few wins being defensive. We're a good counterattacking team. We know we can do that well, but everybody wants to see us attack. But we also get pissed when we attack and we lose. So I don't know what he's going to do. He's got to figure it out. And hopefully he can figure it out. I'm with him. We'll see. But I'm just saying best case scenario, 4th.
Okay. All right, I'll take that. I'll take 4th all day. If you told me right now, John, we're going to end the season 4th, you want to end it right now, I'll say yes. Let's end the season right now 4th. All right, let's move on. I want to do a quick keep or sell with some of the Manchester United players in the squad. So we'll start off with the defenders. Let's go with Victor Lindelof. Keep or sell?
I feel like Lindelof has gotten a lot of undue hate, but I think he's a decent footballer. Okay. Can we do better? Probably. And so depending on where his contract is and his age, I say sell just to get somebody better and younger, and that will help us more in the future. So
okay. Cool. All right. Next up, Harry Maguire.
Sell.
That's just sell.
Yeah, I mean, he did his time, but sometimes he cracks under the pressure, and I feel like he'll do better at a team where there's less pressure. Okay, I hear that. Luke Shaw? Man, this is why I would sell Luke Shaw. Okay. Because we could possibly get, and I like Luke Shaw, but in the summer, I heard Real Madrid was waiting for, what's his name from Bayern Munich?
Alphonso Davies.
His contract to run out.
Yeah.
And I was like, why don't we just jump on that in January? So I say we just jump on that in January, pay Bayern Munich some money instead of them losing him for free. And we got one of the best left backs in the world who's not going to be as injured as Luke Shaw.
But would he be wanting to come though? That's the difficult situation there.
If he wants to come, yeah. I'll take it. But yeah, Luke Shaw, love him, but the injuries, man, I don't know. It's tough. We need a reliable left back.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, next up, we got Johnny Evans.
Shit, I wish he was he's actually really good. Last year, I was always impressed for the most part with Johnny Evans. But you're right. How much can he do going forward at this age? So I feel like we don't even have to sell him. He'll leave or we'll part ways when it's time. But he's good to hold in the squad and come in from game to game.
I hear that. I like that. Okay. Next up, we got Casemiro.
I love Casemiro, but
me too.
And I can't forget what he did for us the first season. Right. We wouldn't have got what we got in the first season. So I like to be loyal, but he can't be in a thing that leads. Now that we're playing the double pivot, we're way better with Casemiro.
Right. And Ugarte in that double pivot.
Yeah, in the double pivot. And he's actually a way better passer with us than I feel like he was at Real Madrid. He's
really?
Show off. Yeah. He would have had a lot of assists if people had put away some of his chances. True. And we can't count those chances if they don't score. Fans be mad. If we didn't score or win, then nobody did anything that day. You know what I mean? You know how much effort it takes to just draw with a side or to tie 1-1? Yeah. But that gets discounted. If you see player ratings, it's 4. We had a clean sheet with PAOK. Is it PAOK?
Yeah, PAOK. Yeah.
Right? And none of the defenders got a 10. But they did their job. Nobody scored. You know what I'm saying? So it's but the point with Casemiro, I mean, his contract is up in a year. He's got one more year. So if we can get some money for him, let's get the money. Okay. Because I feel like we should bring in Gomez back for free from Lille. Yeah. His contract is up, and I think he could do that. And we got Menu, we got Mount, and I want to see Collier play.
All right, well, last one here. We got an attacking player here, Anthony. Keep a sell.
Come on, man. Come on, man. I mean, I want to like Anthony. And he just got even when he's on the pitch, he got a bad attitude. He's cursing out teammates. He's flopping. Like the flopping, if you gonna flop and not do anything, like we got too many floppers on the team as it is. Like people trying to buy fouls. Like that's not the United I'm used to.
No.
The United I'm used to would be like they fouled and kept going. Everybody had the keen mentality. So to have a player that's not excelling going forward, cuts in the middle, he was one of the reasons why we lost the ball constantly last season. And that he never saw overlap that he liked, you know? Like poor people would blame Wan-Bissaka as not being a progressive win back. And it's like, you know how many times he'd pass Anthony and Anthony just like cut inside run into 5 defenders and cough up the ball or try that awful curving shot that everybody knew was coming. So it's like, I don't know, man. It costs a lot of money, but I would get rid of him, and it'd probably be better for him too. Okay,
well, that was it. Last segment on the show is something that I just thought I'd just toss to you, see what's up. I'd like you to create your own 5-a-side of comedians. Now, they don't have to necessarily be football players. They could just be picked because you think they'll do a good job there. So let's get into it. We'll start off in goal. Who do you got?
In goal. Throw Bobby Lee in there. That's terrible. It's probably a terrible mistake, but his name is fresh in my mind because you just brought him up. But he'd be funny after he let it be golden.
You don't think it'd be too much pressure on him just sitting in front of the goal, just taking balls like that?
Do you see him in the outfield?
Okay, cool. Bobby Lee in goal.
The safest place for him.
All right. So what's your shape looking like? You're going to play with two defenders and 2 attackers, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, let's do that, yeah.
Okay, so give me one of your defenders.
One of my defenders, who would be? And they don't have to play soccer. I feel like Bur. Let's pick Bur as a defender. Okay. Let's pick Rogan as a defender.
Okay, and your reason for that?
He's athletic.
Okay.
He can still do the splits. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
He can kick. You know what I mean? You know, like you seen him hit the bag or kick the bag.
Yeah, he can do that.
He's athletic, yeah.
Okay. Is Bur Rogan, is that your defensive back too?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And do you want to do 1 midfielder, 1 attacker, or do you want to just do 2 forwards straight up?
2 forwards. I'll be like a 10. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll be like a 10. I'll jump in there.
Okay.
And then Judah Freelander.
In front of you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I played with Judah. He can play.
Oh, okay, cool. There you go.
He got, and he's a United fan. Is he a United fan? Yeah, I think he's a United fan.
Shouts out to that squad. There you go. I don't know. I just got this picture of just Bobby Lee just sitting in goal, just getting roasted.
Just like, what do you want me to do? I tried. I tried. Probably the ball rolled right by your foot. You know, it wouldn't stop when I yelled stop.
Ian, I just want to say thank you so much for your time. I can't even tell you how much of an honor this is for me, man. Like, this is incredible, and I hope that we continue to chat more on either of our platforms, wherever it may be.
Sure.
You did drop the news about the special. Is there a date for it yet?
Nah, we're just in the middle of editing it.
Okay.
Maybe early next year. I don't think I'll be able to get it out before the end of the year.
Okay. All right. Cool. No worries. We'll all be keeping an eye out for that. I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be absolutely sick. Do you have anything else you'd like to plug before we head out?
Just my Instagram at Ian Edwards Comic. I got all my show dates there and stuff like that.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much. You heard the man, Ian Edwards, absolute legend. Go follow him on his Instagram. Go watch all of his shows. Go watch all of that good stuff. I'm telling you right now, this man is hilarious and he's a United fan. Go show him some love. Yeah, that's it from us. Be happy, be healthy. Take care of your loved ones, and we're out of here.
Thanks for having me, fam. Appreciate it.
Anytime.